when we go to the RTF form PB, this is the code that we need to inject into that procedure or into the repeat loop, okay? So first step is the RTF form callback. This is a window level callback, and this is used for a whole bunch of functions, but least of which is the find and replace when you're actually doing a find and replace inside of the RTF. So we're going to go ahead and copy this. Now, this project, I need to point out, this belongs above our procedure of our window, okay? Now, whether you put it above the load of images or below doesn't really matter. It just needs to be in front. Now, what I have done in this project is I am going ahead and I built my system using this form RTF. So the edit control, the gadget on the main form is named edit description. So I don't need to do the change alls, but if your edit control guy is different and you have a different window name, let's go ahead and back this up and make it pretty, then the next step that you have to do after copying that in place is change all, RTF, this is the existing, what this code is written with, to your RTF edit gadget name, okay? You may be using a different format for the enumeration than what I'm using. So here's what I'm using, change it to yours. And this physically is, let's see, the actual edit gadget name. Okay, so that step is done for us. Now, step 2, create required form variables. Okay, so these, we'll go ahead and copy RTF to RTF. That's how I designed this kind of to paste in. So we'll copy that. And this has to be put inside your procedure that displays the form. All right, now we want to put that actually up here. So it's in here with our definitions for this form. So in other words, you're going to share all of these things here into every form that has an RTF control. So here's your block of RTF. So there's nothing in this that we have to change. We just paste all our definitional stuff in there. You might want to come back, since this is a procedure, and make these protected. That's fine, up to you, no big deal. Okay, so our next block of code is rather huge. Okay, this is the insert this code between the open window call and the repeat loop. So we're going to grab it all, and in between here, open the window and the repeat loop. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and bump this guy down, move that up, move this down, because we want all this to be done before we show the window. So let's go ahead and copy this great big block of code here, RTF to RTF. Now, this will paste in anywhere inside here. Okay, so we are back with from our dogs barking, and let's kind of breeze through this, and let's show you what's happening in here. There's a number of changes you'll have to do here. First and foremost is the name of the RTF gadget. Let's come over here. We typed them all out. Let's just go ahead and read them. So we need to change the RTF gadget to whatever your gadget for the editor is. We also have references to the physical window name. So that would be window FRM form RTF to whatever you called your window enumeration. And then we have menu. So whatever, this is for the menu gadgets, and I will go show you those real quick. So if we come back over here, one of the first things this does is make our call to the RTF callback. Okay. This name here has to match that name there. And since this is a procedure name, it must be unique throughout your entire project. So what I do is just substitute form RTF for whatever the window name is. And then it's window name callback. Down here, it's window name callback. Every time you get to a new window, obviously it's unique and it makes logical sense. Okay, so it adds a timer to our window, and that's the spell check timer. It times every half second. It tries to spell check what you're working on. And now we create our menu structure. Now, what we have back here is this piece right here. This is changing window format or form name and menu. Now, I don't know how you've structured your naming for all of your applications, but that's the piece we're changing. So it only affects these guys here, and there's a bunch of them. And it's outside the import RTF, print, quit, whatever their name is that they are. This is changing the left-hand side of that. So this guy here handles the entire creation of the menu. All of these enumerators are back at the project level for this form. Okay, so these names all match those names. And as you can see, there is an awful lot of these names in here. There's a lot of menu stuff. Okay. Once we get done with the menu, this little block of code you may choose to use or not. And this, if you already have existing data in your database that you're using this with on the gadget, then you've got to convert that existing code to RTF. And the way you do that is load this variable with your existing just standard text. And then this pieces the RTF encoding around it and then returns it back into that variable. So once the RTF is saved, then that first if sentence is false because it's very rare that you would actually begin a text entry with that character. But I know it's possible. I mean, this is just kind of a swag way to go about doing it. If you have no data in your database and you've never entered anything, you can just delete this because that'll automatically happen for you. Okay, now the next sentence in here converts the RTF gadget, the editor gadget, to be RTF. Okay, this is a Windows call that says, hey, this is RTF. Do it that way. Next, we have the whole block of standard shortcuts, and these all tie back to our enumerations way back when in the project level, way at the top of this. And if you want to add more, you can add more right here, but this is where you get the Control A for select all, Control C, copy, paste, all of that sort of thing. Okay, so that completes that block of code that lives there. So now let's come back over here, make sure we've covered everything. Verify the RTF callback procedure name. Well, we went through that. And then initialize RTF data variable. That was that block of if it begins with a squirrely bracket. Okay, so let's get past all of this. And the next section is menu, and then we have gadget. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab, I'm not going to grab the RTF blocks because I don't like them down inside the where this goes. So this is a replacement for class case event menu. This whole thing is a complete, just swap it in. If you have existing code already in there, pull it out because this is going to paste in several hundred lines. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. And okay, we went all the way down to 882 lines. So this was, let's see, this was roughly 300 lines of code that we just pasted in. Okay, almost 400 lines of code. So, okay, this is when all the menu items are clicked, what happens? So we have, you want to import, there's a number of questions and code inside here that's commented out. Down here, if you have a toolbar button that uses strike through, I had a limited space for buttons on my forms. So if you want to add buttons up there, then uncomment this thing here. So it'll do the update of whether that's pressed in or not, depending on the selection of code on the screen. And all of that is the same here, whether you got superscript or subscript. Um, let's see, but these are all of your function calls. So this, if we come in here and say, okay, set line spacing, where is this code here? This is in that shared code section. So this is in RTF control, which is in the fold. This is included code script that is shared across everybody. So we have to pass the handle to the edit gadget that you have on your screen, and then what value do you want for spacing? That's how all of these functions work. You're taking and calling a function that does strikeout. You're telling the gadget what you're doing, and we're turning it on. And then otherwise, okay, strikeout. You're turning it on, but if it is on, you're turning it off, and if it isn't on, it goes on, I believe is the logic in all of this. So you got 300 lines of menu code here that get pasted in, 380 some odd lines. Okay, the next, and this does not include the entire the gadget section, but this is the gadget section of code. It's significantly smaller. You have code for all the buttons that are on the screen. So we're going to come in here and we're going to just paste that in between there. Now, if you are, and you will be, let me say it that way, you have different names than what I've used here. So this has, again, we're passing in the edit name, okay, the editor name, the gadget name, enumeration name. So yours is different than mine. Change it to yours. Do a change all. If you're using, like I'm using the current version, what is it, 6.2 or whatever. And so I can do a change all from one value to another. Poof, do it on the whole sheet. Covers your bases. And then this is the gadget naming thing. And if you have, this handles the editor gadget, this handles everybody else. So if we come back here and you're clicking this button here, well, it's button image underscore. If you're your underscore button has a different enumerator. Well, you got to change the enumerator to match your world. This test here for uses with the video here, I'm keeping everything all named the same. I had to convert all this from Monster, believe it or not. And so at this point, I'm thinking that we have converted and created this whole thing to be RTF. So we hit run. We have no errors. I'm impressed. I'm always impressed when code works. I just, you know. So we come in here and I'm going to hold the shift down and roll the mouse wheel. So you can see the cursor get bigger and smaller. That's zoom. So we can type away with a bunch of junk. We can highlight it and say, oh, let's make it bold and let's underline it. Oh, I'm going to cross it all out. No, you know what? I want to come in here and say this section there, I'm going to change the font on that. So we'll hit the font button. If you want to change the icon, go for it. Sure, randomly selected. And we'll paste that in there. And then you know what? Why don't we go ahead and highlight it? We change the text color. Oh, that's awful. Get it back out of there. Put it back to black. There, did I select that? Yes. Sometimes I don't. Oh, I didn't select this. Hold on. There we go. Oh, I think that cancel. I know how we have to do this. This is a menu. Remove highlighting color, font color. Oh, it looks like it's back to that now. Okay, it's back to normal. So we can go to highlight color and highlight it all in green. So what I'm basic, you got to have something selected, Pete. Highlight green. That's fine. Go. There we go. So you can see that we now have an RTF. The stuff works. If you run into a function that doesn't, holler at me. I'm not going to spend the next, 5 hours going through all of these, but you can see that many of the big ones are here and they're working. Insert an image. Yeah, that's fine. I tried to get insert table. That used to work. It doesn't work anymore. So, but yes, I mean, you have some really cool things. Let's go ahead and bump this. And you can come in here. Where did my cursor go? So, we're still on that wonderful setting. Let's go ahead and take these off. There we go. So now we don't have our strikeout on that. Okay, so you can see that we have an RTF that's working really nicely, and it didn't take 12 hours to get it to work. The way this is designed, it's blocks of code that you cut and paste and fix the names, and then you're up and running. And that will conclude this video, and I want to thank you for your time.